Cardano, layer one favorite on YouTube. Where can it go? How high can it go? How fast can it get there? Let's check that out. I'm Bill Noble from Token Metrics. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Token Metrics YouTube channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're posting a new video in our series, Long-Term Price Predictions. Okay, I'm going to dive right into it. So Cardano is a big favorite on YouTube. It has an enormous following. There are three levels in Cardano. Two levels that people talk about a lot. They talk about Cardano going to $3 and they talk about Cardano going to $5. Right now, Cardano is, roughly 40 cents as of this recording in 2022. Is $3 realistic? Is $5 realistic? Or can it do something like overtake Ethereum over time and go way beyond that? Let's take a look at the Token Metrics price prediction page to see what would happen if Cardano became as important as the Cardano fans anticipated being going forward. So going across the top here, you have total crypto market cap. It ranges from 500 billion all the way out to 10 trillion. That's the new crypto future. Then we have Cardano market cap dominance. So how important is Cardano versus the rest of the market? Right now, that number is about 1.25. So Cardano is about 1% of the market. Cardano fans think Cardano is going to be much more important in the future. But first, let's say Cardano dominance stays the same at 1.25%. If total crypto market cap only makes a marginal new high, meaning last cycle it was 3 trillion, next cycle if it goes to 5 trillion, and Cardano is only as important as it is now, then Cardano doesn't even make it to 2. It only gets to 1.85. Okay, and if Cardano is as important as it is now, in other words, if it doesn't sort of like gain ground on Ethereum, in a world where total crypto market cap is 10 trillion, which basically means foreign exchange, fiat, bonds, stocks, and real estate are all on the blockchain. If Cardano doesn't gain importance in that world, it'll only get to 370. So that's your $3 target. Cardano fans are going to think Cardano is going to get much more important. That's the controversial talk. And I don't think it's that controversial. There's all this talk about, the Ethereum killers. There's the Solanas, there's the Avalanches, there's Near. And every day they add a new layer one that's supposed to kill those layer ones, right? It's really unbelievable. And everybody has kind of forgotten about Cardano and its mission, which is a lot less about FOMO, I think, and a lot more about improving humanity, healthcare, and things like that. All right, so for a moment, let's dream the big dream and say that Cardano is going to go from 1% of the market to 2.5% of the market. Now, that's where you start to get your big targets. So if you have Cardano with 2.5% of the market at a $5 trillion market cap, Cardano's at 370. And if we're at a $10 trillion market cap, then you really get the big number, which is 7.4. Normally on price predictions, I don't really go beyond the coin doubling its importance. But in the case of Cardano, if you're watching this video and you're a Cardano fan, you are assuming that the talk of Cardano eventually going beyond Ethereum meaning in importance. So let's say Cardano becomes 6% of the total market. Now, if Cardano is 6% of the total market at a $5 trillion market cap, that puts Cardano at 9, and in a world where everything is on the blockchain, that puts Cardano at 18.5. If you're a Cardano fan, you probably have to pick yourself back up off the floor at the idea of Cardano at either 10 or 18. But I think what we have to do to keep this as realistic as possible is marry the numbers like the 3, the 5, and the $7 targets together with some long-term TA, which again, we featured in other price prediction videos. We've done Bitcoin, we've done Ethereum. Polkadot was very popular, Solana, Avalanche, etc. So let's go to the TA and let's see what's the most important thing we can draw in Cardano, and most importantly, can we dream the big dream in TA and marry that with the dream, the big dream on the realistic price prediction sheet. One of the key components of this type of analysis is Fib circle analysis. So if you look at this tab on TradingView and you click Fib circles, frequently you draw these things from major inflection points. And then you just see, hey, what does this give you, right? Does it seem to resonate? So I'll start at the beginning of Cardano and I'll stretch it out to where Cardano topped. So the beginning and the end of, say, this current cycle that ended when Bitcoin topped in late 2021. And then I'm not going to draw it all the way out, but these are the straight lines are Fibonacci extension lines. Okay. And these Fibonacci extension lines show you just how far the trend could go. In other words, in the era of parabolic altcoins, this was the structure that I would use to figure out this thing completely moons, where can it go? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the intersection of Fibonacci extension lines with Fib circle lines and come up with a date and a target where those lines meet. And I'm going to see, are they realistic? Or I'm going to give you my opinion as to whether they're realistic. All right, so the first target is $3 in January of 2024. Now, why is that target not realistic? Well, if you have a long crypto winter, that long winter in crypto may be accompanied by a disturbance in equity markets 1 year from the recording of this video in the fall or the late summer of 2023. But, you know, when it comes to Cardano overtaking Ethereum, I think that's actually going to take more time. All right, now let's move on to something that is actually ironic. It's a higher target, but it's actually, you know, farther out in the future. So in March of 2024, I've got an intersection of these lines right here. And that is $4.30. That target is March of 2025. I think that is a very realistic upside target because, again, if you go back to Cardano at a $10 trillion market cap, with Cardano only being as important it is now, it gets to 370. So you would only need kind of a, I don't know, not a marginal uptick in Cardano dominance, but, you know, 4.3 in March of 2025 seems realistic to me. Now, looking out here at the outer limits, right? Actually, adjust this to April. Like, what happens to Cardano? Like, you know, if we go way out there, right? So for 2026, okay, I get a level for Cardano at 5.5. Right. So let's go back to the table. Okay, 5.5 is Cardano marginally gains in importance, and you have a $10 trillion market cap. Reasonable, not realistic. So, you know, when big YouTubers say, oh, Cardano is going to go to $5, well, it's not going to $5 tomorrow, but by the end of the next cycle, it most certainly could. Matter of fact, I think $5 at the end of the next cycle could be conservative, assuming the next cycle starts around mid-2024, when Bitcoin starts going parabolic in July. Again, make sure you check out that price prediction video. So, you know, 2024 to 2026, that could be your next cycle. That could be $5 Cardano. If you want to go to like the outer limits, right? If you want to go like way out there, right? Like, what is the absolute maximum? So if you go to that, what I call the outer rings, you know, science fiction, outer space, if you go to the outer rings of the Fib circle analysis and find out, like, okay, you know, where are the two top targets? Well, in October of 2027, you could have 7.5. Okay. And if you were a monster bull, you would say 12.6. Okay, so this is what the YouTubers are talking about when they're talking about, long-term Cardano being this like total beast, and that's October of 2027. So in October of 2027, could Cardano be at 7.5 or 12? All right, let's go back to the grid. If Cardano is twice as important as it is right now, which is reasonable, that's where Cardano is at 7. Now, I guess that's good news, but the bad news is you may have to wait a long time. That's a 5-year trade. Now, for Cardano to get to 12, it's not really on the grid itself, but Cardano dominance would probably have to go from 3 to 4%. So it would have to get a lot more important to justify a target of 12. So you probably would have to have Cardano be 3 times as important as it is right now. Cardano fans think that's possible, and I think it's possible. But according to the TA, to get 7.5 or 12, that's a 5-year trade. So let's sum it up. Cardano at 3 in 2024 doesn't seem realistic. But when the next cycle is in full, 4 is possible. I think the more likely numbers, ironically, are the higher numbers. Because if it takes that long for Cardano to catch up to Ethereum and then boom, exceed it, the more realistic numbers are the higher numbers later in the cycles, later in the next cycle. So that means 5.5 in October of 2026 could be conservative. And you don't really start getting wild, I think, until you go beyond 7.5 in October of 2027. So 5.5 and 7.5 feel like realistic numbers because it gives Cardano the time to get there and rewards the project if it comes through. And then if Cardano just becomes an absolute beast, $12.60 is at least, I would use the word drawable, right? You can draw it. If you want to dream the big dream, it's 12.5. If you want to stick to Cardano as a project that surges in the future, 5.5 and 7.5 are your numbers. This is Bill Noble from Token Metrics. We will see you next time.